Hi everyone, I'm Taiss and welcome to my next episode where I'll draw a witch, my original character, a witch who likes to cook spicy food. For the first time I drew her about a year ago and here is a picture. I will leave a recording of the painting process of this picture below in the description. Half of her hair is grey and half is black. She has two hairpins in her hair. One of the hairpins is a branch of a spring cherry blossom, and the second one in the shape of a bone. I intended this to symbolize the duality of life. The fact that half of her hair is grey means that she lived far more than one human life, and that she knows far more than one human knows. The pins in her hair signify the constant dying and rebirth of all living things. I myself am a person who loves to cook, including spicy Asian food. That's why my witch loves to cook Asian food. And as you can imagine, this is unusual food. It's more like witchcraft potions. And you never know exactly what's been cooked and what it's seasoned with, because appearances can be deceiving. Because hot spices hide the true taste very well. I really enjoy drawing this character, also because she's always in the frame with a lot of interesting things that tell her story to the viewer. You can create an interesting composition using all these objects, create perspective and depth in the frame using the foreground, middle ground and background. And also there's a lot of delicious food in the frame. I discovered that I really enjoy drawing food. It's very simple and quick, and the result is really satisfying. For this picture, I redid the background several times. It's basically the same kitchen, the same background as on the first picture, but of course I couldn't resist the opportunity to try something new and changed a few things. And I imagine it's a small restaurant in some unusual location where she welcomes, receives and feeds her guests. And of course, these are unusual guests. And I also start painting from the background. To begin this, I need to carefully determine the light sources, the tone of light sources and the values. And to do all this, the best way is to start with the background. So by defining the light sources, I will understand how my main object, the main character, will be illuminated and what values I need to use when painting her. And of course, in a picture like this with a lot of details, it's necessary to carefully decide on the composition on the background in advance, so that later you don't have to redo the entire picture. That is a lot of work. So the sketch for the background I do is a very detailed sketch here. Unlike the first picture with this character, I want this picture to be very rich and saturated in color. In part of colors, I'll use a less saturated greenish blue for the background and the much more saturated yellow and orange red colors of the flames will be accent colors that will highlight the main zone. Main zones separate the characters from the background and emphasize what's important in the picture. The magic process of cooking of spicy food over an open fire. Red, blue and yellow are a classic triad. A classic triad is a combination of three colors that are equally spaced on the color wheel. This scheme has high contrast, but at the same time looks very balanced. The principle is that one color takes up much more space in the painting, but it's more neutral, and other two act as accents and occupy a significantly smaller area. And of course, accent colors are much more saturated. Behind the character's back, I'll place a bright, warm orange illuminated area to highlight the character's silhouette and immediately draw the viewer's attention to the character, to the main object of this picture. Also, the witch's face will be illuminated from below by the light from the fire on which she cooks. This is somewhat demonic lighting. It creates an ominous demonic mood. And that's exactly what I need. Lighting is everything you need to create a mood. A cozy or festive mood, or ominous or romantic mood. Lighting is everything you need. By the way, here is a screenshot I took from a random video from the Instagram that inspired me for this my picture. I didn't repeat it completely, of course. I didn't try to achieve a portrait resemblance to the girl in the picture, and of course I blurred the faces in the screenshot, but I took from here approximately how the character is positioned in the space. That is, the horizon line in my picture is at approximately the same level as in this screenshot. Such references are very helpful in the part of determining the character in perspective for future picture. And of course, I collected several references of Asian food from Pinterest, and it turned out to be very fun to draw. The main thing is to mark the main places for highlights and shadows, and the viewer's imagination will draw the rest. I don't need a lot of details as it's not the main objects in my picture. It's mostly more of an entourage, so I don't need a lot of details there. A large number of details in some places in the background can even interfere by distracting from the main event, from the main characters in the picture. In the very end of my painting, I determine the balance of values, and where necessary, I add more saturation, even more saturation to my essence zones, using overlay and color dodge layers in Photoshop. And where it's needed, I add more shadows, darker tones, using multiple layer. That's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this painting and that this video was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for watching and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my next video. Have a wonderful day or night. Bye bye!